The dawn of hope. Indiana. The quaint village of Rosewood, nestled among rolling hills and lush meadows, mornings were a time of serene beauty and quiet reflection. The villagers cherished the dawn, for it brought with it a promise of new beginnings and endless possibilities. It was in this idyllic setting that young Eleanor found herself, a place where every morning seemed to hold a special kind of magic. Eleanor was a writer, her heart full of stories waiting to be told. She had moved to Rosewood seeking inspiration, drawn by the village's charm and the tranquility of its mornings. Each day, she would wake before the first light of dawn, eager to witness the world awakening around her. She would sit by her window, a steaming cup of tea in hand, and watch as the sky transformed from deep indigo to brilliant gold. One particularly crisp morning, as the first rays of the sun began to peek over the horizon, Eleanor decided to take a walk. She wrapped herself in a warm shawl and stepped outside, the cool air invigorating her senses. The village was still and quiet, the only sounds the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds. Eleanor wandered through the cobblestone streets, her footsteps echoing softly. She passed by the bakery, where the aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, and the blacksmith's forge, its chimney sending up a thin plume of smoke. The village was just beginning to stir, and she relished the peacefulness of the early hour. Her walk led her to the edge of the village, where a path wound through a field of wildflowers. She followed it, her spirits lifted by the vibrant colors and delicate fragrances. The path led to a small hill, and as she climbed to the top, she felt a sense of anticipation building within her. At the summit, she was greeted by a breathtaking view. The sun was rising, casting a golden glow over the landscape. The fields and forests seemed to shimmer in the morning light, and the village below looked like something out of a fairy tale. Eleanor sat down on a large, flat rock, her heart full of wonder. As she watched the sunrise, she felt a deep sense of connection to the world around her. The beauty of the morning filled her with inspiration, and she knew she had found the perfect setting for her next story. She pulled out her notebook and began to write, the words flowing effortlessly onto the page. Lost in her writing, she didn't notice the figure approaching until he was nearly beside her. She looked up to see a young man with a friendly smile and a curious glint in his eyes. He was tall and lean, with tousled brown hair and a look of someone who appreciated the simple joys of life. "Good morning," he said, his voice warm and inviting. "Mind if I join you?" Eleanor returned his smile. "Not at all. It's a beautiful morning, isn't it?" The young man nodded, taking a seat on the rock beside her. "It certainly is. My name's Thomas, by the way. I live just down the road. I often come here to watch the sunrise." "Eleanor," she introduced herself. "I moved to Rosewood recently. I'm a writer, and I find the mornings here incredibly inspiring." Thomas's eyes lit up with interest. "A writer, huh? That's wonderful. What do you write about?" "All sorts of things," Eleanor replied. "Stories about life, love, and the beauty of the world. This place has given me so much inspiration already." They fell into an easy conversation, sharing stories and thoughts as the sun continued its ascent. Thomas spoke of his life in the village, his love for nature, and his dreams of traveling the world. Eleanor found herself captivated by his enthusiasm and sincerity. There was something about the quiet morning and the shared experience of the sunrise that made their connection feel special. As the day grew brighter and the village came to life, they reluctantly made their way back down the hill. They walked together through the fields, the conversation flowing naturally. Eleanor felt a sense of joy and possibility, as if the morning had gifted her not only inspiration but also a new friend. In the days that followed, Eleanor and Thomas often met at the hilltop to watch the sunrise. They shared their hopes and dreams, their laughter and silence, building a bond that grew stronger with each passing day. The mornings became a time of renewal and discovery, a ritual that brought them closer together. Eleanor's writing flourished, her stories filled with the magic of the mornings and the warmth of her friendship with Thomas. She wrote of new beginnings and the beauty of simple moments, capturing the essence of the dawn that had come to mean so much to her. One morning, as they sat on their usual rock, Thomas turned to Eleanor, his expression serious yet hopeful. "Eleanor," he began, These mornings with you have been the most wonderful part of my day. You've brought so much joy and inspiration into my life. I don't want it to end." Eleanor's heart swelled with emotion. "Nor do I, Thomas. You've become such an important part of my life. I can't imagine these mornings without you." Thomas reached for her hand, holding it gently. "Then let's make a promise, Eleanor. No matter where life takes us, let's always cherish the mornings and the time we share. Let's always find our way back to this hilltop." Tears of happiness filled Eleanor's eyes as she nodded. "I promise, Thomas. The mornings will always be our time." As the sun rose higher, casting its golden light over the village, Eleanor felt a sense of contentment and hope. The dawn had brought her not only inspiration for her stories but also a deep and lasting connection. In the quiet beauty of the morning, she had found something truly special: love, friendship, and the promise of new beginnings. And so, the mornings in Rosewood continued to be a time of magic and wonder, a testament to the power of the dawn and the beauty of simple moments shared with someone special.